Now, let us begin with the physical world. We know of the physical world. That is where we are. And it is a world composed of the densest atom. Of all these 7 worlds that we mentioned, the physical world has the densest, the heaviest, if I should put it that way, of the atoms. And the matter of this physical world is subject to certain laws, that of gravity, that of time, that of distance, that of contraction, that of expansion. And actually, matter in the physical world doesn't move until external force is applied. Similarly, when matter in the physical world is moving, external force can be applied to stop its movement and make it stand still. That is how the physical world is. In fact, in science, we talk about this as three-dimensional, and it is true. And there is also linear relationship. We move from one point to the other point. And we use our 5 senses in the physical world. The 5 senses that we have, we use them basically in the physical world. It applies only to the physical world. Now, what are the 7 subdivisions of the physical world? We have the solid, we have the liquid, and then we have the gas. And beyond that, we have 4 ethers. So if you add 4 to 3, then we have 7. Ether is also part of the physical world, except that it is lighter than air, but it forms part of the physical world. So, if that is the situation with the physical world, we'll further go down now and see some other descriptions. Now, the liquid, the gas, and the solids, they compose what we call the chemical region of the physical world. Solid, liquid, gas. The 3 compose what we call the chemical region of the physical world. And those 3 things are the basis for all dense things that we see. All materialized things that we see is as a result of the presence of solid, liquid, and gas. The 3 form what we call the chemical region of this earth planet. And indeed, those who like to go to the Bible, you can pick from Genesis 2:7. Genesis chapter 2, verse 7, where a description is given. Similarly, Genesis chapter 3, verse 19, yet a description is given to show that all that there is physically is a combination of solid, liquid, and gas. Now, beyond the chemical region of the physical world, we have what we call the etheric region. The etheric region is made up of ethers of various composition. They are not uniform. The ethers are not uniform, just as solid, liquid, and gas are also not uniform. We have 4 types of the ethers. Now, the 4 types of the ethers are, first, the chemical ether. Second, the life ether. Third, the light ether. And 4th, the reflecting ether. They are the ones that compose the etheric region of the physical world. What does the chemical ether do? It is in charge or responsible or a means for which assimilation and excretion takes place. So, in the chemical ether, we have 2 forces working there. One is for assimilation and the other for excretion. The one that works in respect of assimilation is the positive part of the chemical ether. The one that works for elimination of waste, excretion, is the negative part of the chemical ether. But when we talk about positive and negative, we are not saying good or bad. No, it has nothing to do at all with that. It's like electrical wires where you have the negative, you have the positive, but you need to join them to have an effect. That is all that we are talking about. They are about qualities. Now, when we look at the chemical ether, which we said is responsible for the maintenance of the physical body or the forms. Now, what it does is independent of our own will or voluntary activity. It is more or less involuntary. It is something that happens to the body without us having any control over it. For instance, when digestion, assimilation, excretion is taking place, it is not as a result of our own effort. It's something that happens naturally. It is as a result of the chemical ether working on our body and in our body as well. Now, after the chemical ether, we have the life ether. The life ether is responsible for propagation in order to maintain the species. It contains forces, and those forces are also positive and negative. As I said earlier on, when we say positive or we say negative, it does not mean good or bad. They are just descriptive of the activities that is conducted. Now, the forces that work on the positive side of the life ether are responsible for birth of human beings. From conception all the way to birth is the positive aspect of the life ether that does that job. For men, the production of semen is as a result of the negative aspect, the negative pole of the life ether. Actually, this issue of gender, this issue of sex, male or female, is as a result of the activities of the life ether. Positive side of the life ether leads to male. Negative side of the life ether leads to female. That is the way the life ether works. Beyond the life ether, we have the light ether. The light ether is actually responsible for the generation of heat in our body. The warm blood that we have is from the light ether. Similarly, forces that work in the negative part of the light ether are responsible for our senses, that of hearing, that for seeing, that for feeling and all that, is as a result of the work of the forces that operate on the negative pole of the light ether. How about the positive pole I mentioned already, responsible for the generation of the warm blood that we have? Similarly, for trees, the sap or the juices that move in them is a result of the work of the positive aspect of the light ether. And then the green aspect of the plants that we see is as a result of work of the forces in the negative pole of the light ether. Actually, all colors that we see is as a result of what is happening in the light ether, especially the negative part. The last of the ethers we're talking about is the reflecting ether. That is the fourth ether. And this ether is very, very important. In it, we have the pictures of all that everybody has done on earth. Everything that we do is recorded or it is reflected in the reflecting ether. Our thoughts, our actions are all recorded in the reflecting ether. It is the seat of our memory. But what happens in the reflecting ether is actually a reflection of the bigger record in another part, which we'll be talking about very soon. Where that record is, we call it memory of nature. So the reflecting ether reflects the records that are kept in the memory of nature. So, reading records in the reflecting ether is not conclusive. It is limited. The best way to read records of individuals and even the earth as to what has happened in the past and what is happening is to go to the memory of nature, but not to be reading from the reflecting ether. Now, as we said, the reflecting ether has records of all the things that we do. It also has this capacity or ability to impress upon our brain so that we can think. And that aspect is connected with the mind, which we'll be looking at into details. The etheric region, as we said earlier on, the four ethers make what we call the etheric region. It extends beyond the surface of this earth planet into the atmosphere. So we are actually living in the etheric region, even though we have the physical body. So the physical world, more or less, as said already, is made up of two parts. One has to do with the etheric region, as we have just talked about, and the other one has to do with the concrete aspect, where we have the solid, the gas, and the liquid, the chemical aspect. That is how it works with the physical world. So these are the 7 subdivisions of the physical world. Who live in the physical world, especially in the etheric realm? Who live in the etheric realm, the region of ethers? We have forces of plants or vegetation. We have the forces there. We also have that for animals. Their forces are there. And that of human beings, we ourselves, our forces are there. Same as angels. Angels also operate in the etheric region. And then the fallen angels, they also operate in the etheric realm. And then elementals, they also have the capacity to function in the etheric region. And let's not forget, people who died not too long ago, a week or two, a month, 40 days going, they also operate in the etheric region. So these are examples of those who operate in the etheric region. Now, the physical world, made up of the chemical region and the etheric region, these two worlds are connected to this earth planet. The two, chemical region and etheric region, which make the physical world, are connected to this earth planet. So we have the drawing of this, where we have the physical world broken down into two. We have the 3 lower ones, which make up the chemical region. We have the 4 higher ones, which make up the etheric region. So 2 broad divisions in the physical world, etheric region and chemical region. That is the world. And this is the last of the 7 worlds. And I said, the atoms over here are the densest. They are the densest. The atoms in the etheric region are lighter than the atoms in the chemical region. The vibration of the atoms in the etheric region is more than that of the chemical region. Okay.